Welcome everybody to Bugbears and Brews. My name's Brian, and today we're recapping the finale of our Tomb of Annihilation campaign. So this was there was a lot that went on, not so much combat-wise, that kind of stuff there, but like afterwards story. So I might forget a lot of stuff there, because a lot of it was just ad hoc, make it up on the spot, and a lot of collaboration there. And I know I'm not going to cover everything, but I'm going to try to get what I can. So while I'm doing that, though, I am drinking a bourbon and Coke, which isn't exactly my favorite. And the Coke is warm, and I'm out of ice because I use the ice to pad my keg downstairs because I have it in an igloo cooler. Um, so I got it in my frosty beer, not cold beer cup guy. So hopefully it cools down quick. It's okay. Still warm Coke. Okay. So you guys are in this big triangular room. There's this evil death god baby thingy floating in the air. And you guys are trying to figure out what's going on here, how to best approach killing it is kind of your thought. As you guys are trying to think about this, Ildrix steps through the portal and falls into another room. I shouldn't say falls into, enters another room, and the other room is like kind of a churchy temple type area. There's these weird, emaciated creatures hanging on the wall, and there's this big old sack at the far end of the church. And he walks over, opens up the sack, and it's a lady in the sack, living, relatively familiar looking, but not 100%. He popped a little bit of healing into it. She shot him an angry glance, but nothing else. And so, with those eyes like daggers, he said, "Screw it," and he pummeled her in the the head and knocked her back out. He didn't pump a whole lot of healing in her. Um, as this is going on, so that's story A-esque. As this is going on, I don't recall if you guys initiated combat against the big god baby type deal, and you start seeing these souls pull in from it, and Don, who was playing card because Aaron didn't make it, started tossing gust of wind around trying to push the souls away, and that's where we discovered that souls aren't affected by wind. Who would have guessed? But this god baby thingy, the ice. Thank you, sweetheart. The ice just fell. Fantastic. So maybe, sure, why not? I got an awesome wife. Thank you, babe. So this god baby thingy, the first thing it started doing, it started to cry, and the cry was annoying. But as it grew louder, it was really exhausting and caused levels of exhaustion if you fail checks. And here's where Sai, I think, pulled out like the MVP slot for this this whole session here. He used silence and silenced the baby. The baby didn't, God baby didn't realize it's silence. That's smart, but it's whatever. It's still crying its ass off. And so you guys started going to town on it because you guys didn't want the, this thing's evil. You didn't want it to, thank you, didn't want it to ruin everybody's life, all that kind of fun stuff there. So start fighting this god baby. As this is happening, Car starts getting hit pretty hard. Even though the baby was in a silence area, it had an innate ability to cast out Rays of Frost. Yeah, people in the Rays of Frost really hurt. And like the first round of combat, also summoned a Wraith. Yeah. And they started focusing on Car because Car was doing some, I think it was lightning spells and that kind of stuff there. And so Car just said, screw it. He's going into the chapel. He sees Ildrix braining this girl, and he's like, what the hell's going on here? Starts looking around and decides he's going to start drawing the creatures on the wall with the gust of wind still going. So he's drawing his papers going all over the place because Don kept on forgetting to mention he cuts off the gust of wind. So we had fun, and it just kept on going on. So much better, not warm. Eventually, though, Car and Ildrix headed back out. Ildrix did bring the knocked out woman that was in the sack and just dropped her on the balcony that you guys were on, that the portal was on. The other thing that really, really helped in the fight was that why am I Salazar? There we go. I kept on wanting to say Sandovar. Salazar, Mark's druid, cast a ring of fire, and it wound up getting all the tendrils inside of it. It had the god baby inside of it. It had the monger, the soulmonger, and all the struts supporting the soulmonger. So there's doing constant AoE damage to these things, and I don't think he realized how much damage he was doing and how much that really helped. So between having Sai have this guy have this soul baby, evil god baby, I should say, not soul baby, evil god baby, silenced, it took away a lot of its abilities. Eventually did start flying around and that kind of stuff there, but between that and the fire, you guys took quite a bit of this chunk, a lot of the difficulty out, because you guys were able to break down the struts, which then took out the soulmonger. But before that could happen, the tendrils did a lot of damage to the people that they could hit, and we actually came up into a really, really tight predicament where one of the tendrils got on Sai and pulled him up because there was no save, and it just automatically lifted him up. And the next round, the tendril died because it had so little health. So here Sai is floating in the air, not floating, but this tendril is crumbling around him. This god baby's lifting up in the air, and he is like 80 feet above lava. Things aren't looking good because the lava means certain death. And Carr just happened to come back through the portal and cast Levitate, which saved him. And from there, Sai grabbed on the god baby, went up to the top with it, as the god baby flew out of the silence there, and went to town, kind of punching, pummeling, and that kind of stuff with it. So, god baby eventually went down. You guys were not in good shape. It did a lot of damage to you guys. Once you guys decided to fully put your efforts into it, but initially Ildrix was kind of putzing around on another section, which was to his character due to who he was obsessed by or possessed by, and Carr getting back into the fight. Once he felt a little bit more like the focus wouldn't be on him. Shortly afterward, Asarak, the main Lich guy, came. He wasn't too happy that you guys killed his god baby. And here is where me misinterpreting the map completely trivialized this. So initially I said that there was like a walkway all around, and looking at the map as it was blown up, I got a map from one of the other DMs. What I said was a walkway was really perspective angles, and I said, screw it, we're running with it. That's how it was. Let's just roll with it. And because you guys had those connections all around, you guys absolutely had, you had great mobility through here. And I think the Asarak part of the fight lasted 2 or 3 rounds between Sai doing I think it was 3 rounds, because Asarak tossed out a couple spells. Sai did his silence, which, because it was not a spell, it was an innate ability, couldn't be counterspelled, which then led to the paladins ganging up. So Don came in as Fyra because Navarre died the session before, which he just rolled a randomly generated character, and he came out and he said screw it, he ran with it because it was a high elf, which kind of fit in with his character's backstory. Fyra was is a retainer for Navarre's house. So, and she was sent there to kind of follow up on everybody and was kind of trailing on you guys. So there was that. And then Ildrix. I think Ildrix got a crit with the smite and the plus 3d6 because he was possessed by somebody, plus his undead. I think he did like over 101 hit, and it was just not good. So Asarak steps out, after you guys lit his shit up, and goes to do his like, ha ha ha, you got me this time, but you won't get me again. I'll see you later. And Sai, once again, pulling out the MVP card, was like, "No, you won't," and uses the Ring of Broken Promises or Broken Wishes. I always forget which way I called it, which automatically prevents a proclamation of the future that was just made from occurring. So while Ace Rock is saying, "I'll get you, I'll see you again later. This isn't over," Sai was like, "Yes, it is," and thus it was done. So you guys are free of Ace Rock, and you guys kill the uh, kill the God Baby, free, destroy the Soulmonger. Things are looking great. You hurry up, rush out of the tomb. You find your way out. From there, we kind of jumped into out of like story mode or out of gameplay mode and just went into storytelling. You know, and kind of talked a little bit about what's going on there. You guys navigating the tomb because there was still some instant death traps post defeating the big bad, and that's just stupid in my book. I'm sorry. But getting out of the tomb, you weren't even no. I'm getting Jason's stuff mixed up. Getting out of the tomb, Sai immediately he beelines off, starts taking a look for Marimetta, who was a side story character for his person, for his backstory. And that was one I really wish we could have done more with, but because everybody was about done with this campaign, I would have liked to do a session devoted to that, but we couldn't. We could have, but it would have been drawing out the campaign that everybody else was done with. So Marimetta wound up killing Sai's. So they were both monks at the same monk institute, whatever, the Monk Institute of Technology, and wound up killing their master. And so Sai actually came to the Chalt area to track down Marimetta because that was the last lead he had. And he wound up finding Marimetta or evidence of Marimetta in the Yanti main city. I forget what it's called. Fang and the Night Serpent, I think it was. And snuck in, found her. He thought about poisoning her just to get the revenge, but he remembered Yanti are not susceptible to poison, so he waited, kind of rocked her a little bit, made sure the eyes matched to what he thought the eyes should be, and he immediately recognized her, jabbed the dagger in, it was done. From there, he made his way to Raz in the Sea and easily offed him because even though he was still alive, anybody that was resurrected was slowly fading away due to the death curse. And so Raz in the Sea was just a former shell of himself, and he was easily able to sneak in there and just off that bastard and be done with it. And from there, he snuck back out and met with you guys. You guys returned to Waterdeep, and here we kind of do the what happened to them. So I'm going to try to remember everybody. I am sure I'm going to forget some things, but I'm going to try to do what I can. So Salazar kind of went off. He stayed in Chult, went off on and did his old thing. Barlow, however, was resurrected, and Barlow became the head librarian of the Grand Library of Waterdeep. They easily gave him that position. They said, "You know what? You deserve it. You saved a whole lot of people here. This is yours." Okay, Carr. We actually didn't say Carr's there. Aaron wasn't playing, so out of sight, out of mind type of thing. But what we decided with Carr, what I decided, and I bounced it off one of the guys, is that so during this whole thing, Carr is drawing, using his charcoals and drawing pictures of Chult and your guys' experience. He makes a picture book, travel log type deal that Navarre's family publishes under Navarre's family publishing rights, and so they get a small percentage of that. And Carr goes on to become I won't say successful, but a eclectic, known but kind of cult following for Triton art. So on the mainland there. Looking at the next person, that would probably be. We want to save Ildrix till a little bit later. Oh. Vira, she resurrects Navarre. Navarre was able to save his dad, which is why he went out there. And due to seeing Doppelvar, the crazy doppelganger type deal that was made of him or something along those lines. Navarre started working on having a better relationship with his brother. From there, him and his brother started working a little bit more on building up Nightstone. A lot of the money that they were given due to helping, finish this curse went towards that. But Navarre's family did something a little sneaky, which is they pretended that they were the only ones that could heal people for a little bit. So they kind of capitalized on resurrecting people. And from there, eventually, like, oh no, it's fixed altogether. Okay, cool. We didn't know that. We just thought our healers were special. So I thought that was pretty funny. Obrecht, he was resurrected and he came back. He was not resurrected, he was reincarnated. He came back as a human and he decided to go about checking out all human women's. Was it a human or half elf? One of the more standard races versus like a dwarf. And he wound up catching syphilis and going nearly mad. But he requested that he always have at will greater restorations, so that way he can go out and just pound the town away. And they gave it to him. And besides that, he was also enlisted as part of the elite squad for Navarre's house. Ulrich went on to just explore shit and always making sure whenever he signed up for a job that he was always on the writ, because he never actually got on the writ for this one, this adventure here. So he never actually got any of the goodies. So, but yes, he did get resurrected as well. I did roll that each person in Nobody's Soul was actually eaten by the Soulmonger during that time there. Let's see here. Oh, Leorin. Because Jose couldn't make it either, and he was kind of he's kind of on and off for a couple weeks due to like weather issues and whatnot, because he drives like an hour away. We had some fun with this character, where the whole reason he was in Chalt was to impress a girl. And when he got back, he found out that that girl was knocked up by 3 different dudes and raised all 3 of those different babies as his own. How that works out logistically, I don't even want to think about it. It was funny. We rolled with it. It's canon now, bitch. All right, so we got that. Sai went back to his monastery, and his whole goal was he just wanted to earn his adult name and move up the ranks in the monastery. I don't think he took any possessions or any sort of goody gold or anything like that from it. Like, I don't know if I forced a little bit of like, they send and kind of help your monastery out a little bit. I don't even recall if I did that. I think he just wanted to go about his business from there. So, Ildrix he felt all super powerful. He started remembering that he is actually not so much a dragonborn as a true polymorph dragon, silver dragon that was transformed into a dragonborn. And so, via like a curse or something along those lines. And so he wanted to go to the Shadowfell to rid himself of some shadow dragons. He's feeling really powerful, really strong. He's ready to go kick some ass and maybe get some rings, maybe figure out how to remove this curse. And talking with some folks, he knows that Thessalon and Eleni have some connections in the Shadowfell. They can probably get him there. And so Thessalon and Eleni say, yeah, we can get you there. You just got to take this drink from a bottle. He did. And this is where I don't think non-evil Tim, meta-wise, knew what the bottle was. And so it's the bottle that Eleni and Thessalon were trapped in for many, many, who knows how long, unspecified amount of time. And so Ildrix gets trapped in the bottle. And from there, he eventually is pulled out of the bottle. He's sitting there in the bottle, just like wasting away. Not wasting away, but like, what the fuck's going on? He hears some mumblings, he can obviously tell that they kept the bottle with them for some time, but eventually everything kind of goes silent. And light finally pours into the top of the bottle. He's let free, and he looks around, and he's sitting there in this cave, like or not cave, this ruined shrine type deal. He looks, and the bottle was pushed down into the alchemist jar, which you guys had the entire time, and I think you only used it to make mayonnaise. And so the alchemist jar is full of mayonnaise, which the bottle is plunged into. And there's this goblin pulling out the bottle, like looking like, why the hell is this dragonborn that just came out of it? And Ildrix is looking around and finally pieces together that this is that damn treasure room that you guys stored all your shit in back in the beginning. And you kept on swearing you're going back for it, you're going back for it, going back for it. Even though he was never there, you guys told so many stories about this room. He knew what the hell he was doing, or where, what the hell's going on here. Not knowing how long he's been in the bottle or anything like that, he said, "Screw it, Goblin guy, you're now my little lackey. Let's go on an adventure." And he went off to do many adventures. Uh, Thessalon and Eleni, after dropping off the bottle in Cholt, nobody knows what happened to them. So, who knows? We might see him again in the future. Maybe we'll see him in Star Wars. Who knows? That was the end of the campaign. Overall, I really, really enjoyed the first bit of this campaign. I liked the open bit with Chult. I liked the exploration. We didn't do like the super like go through the map. We talked about in the beginning like oh yeah, let's do that, let's do that, and we didn't do that. And I'm kind of glad that we didn't because it helped, speed of play and all that kind of stuff there. I will say, soon as we got into Tomb of Annihilation, a lot of the fun was sucked out of it for me. A lot of the fun was sucked out of it for the players. Would I run this one again? Not a chance. The Chult setting as whole, I don't know if I could base a whole campaign in there, just because there's only like one major city and then everything else is just kind of sprinkled through, and a lot of ruiny type things there. You could probably do it. I would probably nix the zombie whole bullshit, undead. Yeah, I had fun. Like I said, I had fun with it in the beginning. I had fun with it when we got to the more role play aspects towards the end there. Um, I don't like instant death traps. I should have thought about this ahead of time. Like, it sounded great on paper, but having run something like Dead and Thay or some of the other mega dungeons, it should have dawned on me like it's not my style of play. But it's what we decided we want to do. So that said, we're done with D&D for a while. There's no game this week, and starting on August 8th, we are switching to Edge of the Empire, which is part of the Fantasy Flight Star Wars game. So most people already had their characters already made. Go ahead and brush up on that. If you're not, check out the Obsidian portal for it. I'll link the Obsidian portal on the website, the YouTube thingy I upload. If people that aren't a part of it want to check it out, go for it. There are some forums and that kind of stuff that we do, like character development, role-playing type stuff on that visitors can't see. So if somebody's really interested in seeing that, I don't know who actually watches this besides my players. If anybody's interested in seeing that type of stuff, seeing like what are some of the rules that we made, what are some of the characters going on, might be like a little bit of backstories there. Some of the, I call them 0.5 session play-by-post things that we did. I did a full one with Don and Non-Evil Tim, and I have one going on right now with Aaron, and then I'm supposed to be having one going on with Evil Tim and whoever else wants to do one. But Evil Tim's the only other one that I know for sure that wants to do it. Gladly put a little message down there on the YouTube comments, and I can probably get something there for you. Or I guess follow it maybe on the Obsidian portal and send me a message. I don't know how that shit works. Still figure it out. So talk to you later, guys. See you in Star Wars.